Yeah, Jake, Celtics late night. Celtics win 117 to 107. The first seed in the Eastern Conference. Al Horford takes down the Sixers. It was revenge all around. Revenge from last week, Jake. Revenge from how Al was mistreated by the god-awful Philadelphia 76ers. You'll love to see it. How you doing, Jake?
I am good, Ben Vallis. That's why we do it. That's why we love the Celtics, baby, right there. It's
The vibes.
It's Al Horford, man. He's the fucking man. Just the best. Yeah.
Shout out Aussie Phil.
Aussie Phil.
Welcome everyone to the
go.
chat as people file in from their garden report duties. How's it going, everyone? You as good as we are? We're both feeling fan-fucking-tastic. Revenge, absolutely. I've lost Jake. I don't know. Jake had a confused look on his face and then ducked out of the stream. So while I'm filibustering here waiting for Jake to hop back in, here he comes. The story of this game is back. He's back like Al Horford. He's back like the Celtics are on top of the table there in the East. We can jump around here, Jake. We're rudderless. We're run sheetless. It's the one rule for late night is to have no run sheet and just follow the brain synapses as they fire. But Al Horford is the story, right? I mean, you can go any direction, but I think that's where we should start.
I think it could be easy to go in the direction of Derrick White, who was incredible.
14 points in the fourth.
I will be seeing Derrick White after this show. The mistress and I have a date. Just showing me exactly why I love him for who he is, because he gives the Celtics what they need. But Al Horford, I mean, he's been doing his thing, cruising on the bench, 11 minutes. And look, we called for Al Horford to start last game and bring off a Derrick or a Jrue. You could bench a Jaylen Brown. Here we go. Ben's got a visitor in the back here. He's about to walk past.
He just popped his head out of the bathroom shirtless and like soaking wet from the shower. So you might see a sweaty, showered, filthy man walk past at some point. I mean,
that's how we feel right now, is shirtless, sweaty. The story of the week is Ben's weekly one-on-one meeting with the Exactly. That was a good omen. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to schedule a one-on-one with my boss at Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Make sure we get it done. It is the way. It's the formula. Exactly.
But it's got to be an hour earlier because those games will be at 10:30, not 11:30. Important to note that.
Yep, good call. Yeah, I'll make sure it's scheduled accordingly. So Al Horford. So fourth quarter alone, okay, only the 3 points, but a crucial corner three from Tatum there, who was like throwing dimes all sort of the latter part of the fourth quarter. Like he sort of took over with his playmaking to some degree. But 5 blocks in the game for Al Horford. Yeah. Am I reading that correctly?
You are reading that correctly. I have.
Crazy.
We got a couple Al Horford videos here, but this is who we got tonight.
In this kind of atmosphere,
playoff Al, baby, playoff Al.
Hey.
Dude, that video makes me so happy. 19-year-old JT amidst I think that was the Sixers series, like back in 2017, 18. Yeah. And here we are 5 years later. Al was 32, locking down Embiid. And now Al Horford's 37, locking down Embiid. Embiid, 20 points. 20 points. I know it was a back-to-back for the Sixers, but, we're missing Porzingis. We're missing Jaylen Brown.
Doesn't matter.
For him to hold him to 22 turnovers.
Minus 25.
Yeah.
I know we only focus on single game plus minus when it suits us. Minus 25 suits me, Jake. That suits me fine.
And that feels right. That feels accurate.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad stat line, I guess. Like 20 points, 7 assists, 9 boards. But, for the MVP, it's not going to get it done. And, Al Horford, and then the team defense again for at least the third or fourth game in a row, and especially coming off that Knicks game, like despite the lack of personnel there, and again ramping it up in the second half, the defense was really on a string, and it's a different approach going against Embiid and the Sixers, and they adjusted, and I don't know. Dude, I don't know where to go. I wanted to go. I wanted to go on Sam Hauser because he was very impressive defensively as well. But where do you want to take this?
Him and Pritchard fighting consistently. They hold the Sixers to 17 points in the third quarter. And Joe Mazzulla, man, like coming into the season, I was pretty bullish on a Joe Mazzulla bump, a coaching bump. Obviously Mazzulla coming into year 2, Charles Lee, Cassell. We're seeing the fruits of the Cassell Tatum mind meld in the post game. But Joe Mazzulla's defensive acumen, he was a defensive dude. If you're going to be a 6-foot D1 college player, and you have to be a dog on defense, and that's where he hung his hat. And he was allegedly the architect of the Rob Williams 2022 defense. And then you see today there's like possessions where it's like zone, box and one, zone, box and one. You've got Horford playing him straight up with help. You've got Jrue Holiday as the primary defender when Luke Cornett comes in. Like mixing and matching the coverages on both Embiid and Maxey. Like you hold Maxey to 6 from 15 shooting, and now to combined across 2 games, I had tweeted this earlier, Maxey for the season, Tyrese Maxey is 108 from 222 field goals. That's 48.6%. In 2 games against the Celtics, Maxey is 16 for 42. That is 38.1%. Hey, there he is.
The big fella.
That's the energy we need right there. The big dog. He's wearing green. He's wearing green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you come to my house, you got to wear green. Absolutely. Everything you're saying about Joe Mazzulla, and it's sort of like not widely reported, but it's known to anyone who digs deep enough that he was the architect of the defense back in the day. But like it was all Mazzulla ball last year and zipping around and taking a bunch of threes and offense. So I wasn't expecting to fall in love, Jake, the way that I am now with how incredible the defense is, and the many different flavors and iterations and that we see of it against different opponents, and the fact that they can be so flexible without key parts of the roster on the floor, and Porzingis, who's been doing a great job defending the rim so far this season, to see it show up in the way, and just to get back to, we probably got to get back to Al a little bit here, like the narrative aspect, and sticking with the defense anchored by Al Horford. And like Embiid got some buckets, but Horford rather, he won the matchup tonight, surely.
Well, speaking of winning the matchup, I have 5 Al Horford blocks to share with the audience right here. Just sit back, relax.
Yes.
43 seconds right here.
Let's do it.
Embiid with a wing touch, facing up on Horford. Holiday threatened with a double, and Al is able, and also trying to grab first place in the Eastern Conference. The winner of this one will stand atop the standings alone. Embiid. Horford. Quick to get a hand in there. Under 5 to go. Maxey gets the switch onto Hauser. Blocked by Horford. Sixers trying to chip. Short corner. Blocked by Horford. Down on the deck to get it.
Dude.
First of the floor. First of the
man.
floor.
Yes,
let's go.
Absolutely. Finally, some content for our new intro. Dude, we've got some more post-game stuff that we can get to regarding Al Horford. A couple of post-game comments here. So Jay King tweeted these out. So Al Horford said, there were some fans in the front row talking. And I just love that. To me, I just like it. It was good to hit that shot and turn around and look at them and smile. And if you're wondering, the shot that I'm referring to, it is this one.
Look at Celtics moving it. Al Horford sticking it. Al Horford letting them know.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Little kiss there for our buddy Joel Embiid, who also admitted in his locker room interview after the game that the Celtics are the best team in the league, which I thought was nice. A rare good moment of truth from Embiid.
I was going to say, that's one of the first things I've ever agreed with Joel Embiid. I mean, man, there is nothing quite like beating this Philadelphia 76ers. Like, as joyous as Maxey is as a person. Watching Joel Embiid flail around and cop L after L for a half decade now at the hands of the Boston Celtics, I mean, it's beautiful. Again, short-handed yet again. We did it last year with Luke Cornett and Blake Griffin leading the charge, and today Svi Mikhailuk comes in and gives you 5 points. Banton gave you a lot of stuff out there. But, you know, the death taxes and Al Horford just being able to crush the souls of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, and I want to get to those crazy lineups that we saw, particularly in the first half as well with Svi, and Svi was great, and we'll get to that, but we've got Joe Mazzulla here talking about Al Horford after the game.
Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, Al Horford, those guys kind of have to minimize themselves sometimes for you guys.
Yeah.
Tonight, how did they respond? Maybe more of an opportunity with the injury.
I mean, it starts with Al, right? You know, we can't have the type of culture and the type of team and the thing that we have without a guy like him. And so for him to come off the bench in some games, and then when his name is called to play the way he did in that second half, you know, he came up to me, he missed a three on the right wing and asked me if he should have cut to the basket, and I said, no, you should have shot it faster. And then he shoots one in the corner. And so when you can empower him and you know, when he's ready to go, it just makes us a different team. And he's in that list of, like, when he plays hard, he inspires everybody.
Presented by your New England Ford dealers.
Sorry for the free sponsorship there. You'll love to hear it. It's just the advice, like, no, man, shoot it again and shoot it faster next time. Like, keep fucking doing what you're doing.
Joe Mazzulla was like, hey, Joe, should I have taken that three? He's like, you're damn right you should have taken that three, Al. Should have get out there and take a 3 or 4 more and knock them all down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jason Tatum also said after the game that Al Horford, he sits next to him on the team plane and called Horford his favorite teammate, and which is awesome to hear. What?
Who's going to get mad? Who's upset about that?
I don't know. No one's getting mad after a win like that, man. Everyone's happy.
I'm surprised you didn't be like, oh no, is that going to make someone mad? That's usually your job to be like, how can we?
Well, don't pull me in that direction, man. It takes a lot of effort and therapy to not feel that way after every game. Find something to get hung up on. Just let me have this moment.
It is fair because Jalen's, you know, he's got his best friend in the Bear Slayer, the Latvian legend, Kristaps Porzingis. It's only fair that the OG and Tatum can get cuddles on the plane ride on the way home.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like more holistically, yeah. So like not just this game, which we needed Al to step up in lieu of Porzingis, but you know, I guess we've been maybe craving a little additional productivity from Al Horford so far this season, despite his diminished role. And this is proven that lurking within there, somewhere within Al, is just this mega beast who tells the Sixers to fuck off, but is also there lurking and ready to come out when we need him most. I think we can rest assured knowing that he's inside those beautiful eyes. There's a killer still.
Look, you and Spoonie have been pushing for Al Horford to play basically no minutes, but, you know, I've been like, you know, the 20, 22 range, that's where we want him. And that's where he's kind of been, is in that 20, 22 range. He's played 11 minutes on a couple of blowout nights. And I'm going to go back and look at yesterday's episode because I was like, I know he's in there. It reminds me of the Warriors game at home that the Celtics won in overtime last year. Al Horford just basically doesn't leave the ground on like 80 of the regular season games, but Philadelphia 76ers, the playoffs start. You can't tell me that Al Horford looked older than Joel Embiid tonight.
No, I mean, he looked better. He just looked better. And Al is just forever young as well, as far as his complexion. I'm trying to figure out what kind of cosmetics he uses. I need some of that for myself.
We figured this out in the stream. It's called genetics.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Can't change that, unfortunately, in my case. Derrick White, is he back?
I think so.
He looks back. At least on road games where the newborn, you know, sleep interruption factor isn't a thing. I think we can feel safe that he's going to be back to his regular levels of production.
He was incredible, man. Like this is what I love about Derrick White. He's got to be one of the most scalable players in the NBA. He can take 3 shots or 4 shots. He took on opening night again. Yeah, we're going to get some of these genetics. Al Horford, some of that secret stuff. The 5'7" guy with the bad back would like some genetics, please. That would be nice. But like opening night, 4 shots, Derrick White plays his role perfectly. he can go off for 20. He have 28 against the Miami Heat, and we have this signature pull-up three in front of their bench. And then tonight, guys are out, and that lineup before Tatum and Al came in, Derrick White was running pick and roll with Luke Cornett and making the perfect decision, possession after possession after possession. Shout out our boy Sam LaFrance in the chat here. Exactly what I'm saying right now. Like, he can be the guy that we need him to. He was awesome against Philly. He's established. Heat killer. Finally, we have one of those, as opposed to them having an absurd amount of Celtics killers. But like, he just is so scalable. Doesn't matter what you need from him. He can give it to you. And in that fourth quarter, it was, I'm going to get to the floater game off the pick and roll. And then 2 possessions later, Paul Reed plays him a little close up, and Derrick just waits to the perfect moment to where Paul Reed has committed to the contest, and it's just the easy drop off to Luke Cornett for a thunderous Luke Cornett positive jam. Which, what can you ask for?
Well, just for him to be himself again, like all that stuff we talk about, yeah, great, but like we've seen it before, and just to see him find it again, and after not that long, really, like he's been off, he's been dealing with the newborn situation, which is wonderful and more important than any sport or any job, but it does take its toll on the family, and for him to bounce back and be this productive and this important a game, taking the first seed in the East, great to see it, very good timing.
Shout out Pete in the chat, he's back, who gave us the Bear Slayer nickname, the Latvian legend, who, if I still have it, has been, you've taken the picture away in the
I did clean up earlier today. Apologies. We've got to leave it there with the Blake Griffin clips.
Yeah,
it's got to be a mainstay.
That's all right. We'll bring it back. But yeah, welcome back, Pete. And shout out everybody in the chat. While I'm thinking about it, please like the stream.
Yes.
Please. We're bad at this, but please, it helps us. We appreciate you all being here. We love doing this. We love the Celtics. Like the stream. Follow us on everywhere. Yeah, man. We're out here doing Celtics shows 9-2. Beating the Sixers.
9-2. It's got a nice ring to it.
The
Stream rather. Subscribe. All that great stuff. Good work, Jake.
9 divided by 11 is 81%. So 82 times 0.81 is a nice 66 win pace. Improving on our 8-2 mark. I think this is a good spot to be in.
It's a great spot to be in. I would have preferred 82, 72 even, but I'll take 66. And we could still go on a massive win streak here. And we'll get to the schedule to close the show, but there's a nice sort of cushy few game stretch coming up here, which is great to see. I want to talk about late game execution a little bit, which was a huge problem for the Celtics last year and the year before and the year before that, etc.
Since I've ever came into this world, it feels like.
Yeah, and yet not this year at all. We've had a number of late game, closeouts where we've come out on top, where I'm still, even today, like just not used to seeing it go the way of the Celtics. And like, I think 7 minutes to go, we're up 2. It was, I want to say 95-93. Luke Cornett with some huge offensive boards and second chance points. He had a thunderous dunk off of one of them. We had one of the many Al Horford blocks that went straight to a Derrick White 3. Tatum gets to the free throw line off another post up, which just spells only success at this point. If it's not a turnaround splash Kobe style, it's getting to the line, it's opening up passing lanes, it's everything. It's so good. We need to send Sam Cassell a nice bottle of wine. And then I mentioned it, but Tatum just like dicing up the Sixers defense with his passing, penetration, opening up passing lanes, driving kick, paint touches. It was just everything that you want to see, obviously throughout the course of a game, but especially to close a game. And I'm still just not used to seeing it with my eyeballs, Jake, after so long of just being the complete opposite of that. So love to see it.
The fourth quarters have been fantastic. I'm trying to look it all up now. So fourth quarters in the NBA, we are 4th in the league in points per fourth quarters. We are shooting 48.9% from the field, 40% from 3. And I think maybe most importantly here, do we have the turnover numbers? 3 turnovers actually feels kind of high, but actually it is 7th in the league in turnovers for the fourth quarter, which for this team is pretty fantastic. And that's not taking into account today's fourth quarter where we had 1 turnover, again, 47.8% from the field, 44.4% 4% from three. The fourth quarters are different. Everything that we've been screaming about for the Celtics to do last year and the year previous, it all kind of feels like it starts with Tatum in the post. Like that is, like they're being deliberate about finding mismatches. They knew that Tatum on Maxey, that's number one matchup. We're trying to basically get anyone onto Maxey, specifically trying to get Tatum. And then Melton, and even he bully balled Tobias Harris today as well. And the first wrinkle I think we've seen of Tatum being so good in the mid-range, he went to it again tonight, but in the fourth quarter, he went to the turnaround pump fake, drew the 2 fouls on Melton, because the only way you're going to contest Tatum's fadeaway from the mid-range, unless you're like Wembanyama, is going to be a fully loaded contest. And when Tatum's made a couple of those and a team's trying to stay in the game, like I love that wrinkle. And even if he doesn't get a full pump fake, he can kind of, pump fake and then has kind of the rip through move where he comes to
get under him
towards the ring. I think that there's a lot of meat on this bone with the post up stuff, but I think being deliberate about the fourth quarters, playing with a nice blend of pace while also not rushing things has been a big change as well. Like it was really like we were stressed out in the playback stream earlier, and again, shout out to the playback stream. We were watching the game live with a bunch of the crew actually in the chat now. Aussie Phil, Eric, Philip Hart. We were stressing because we're humans and the fourth quarters are scary. But like you go back to it now, that was a wire-to-wire fourth quarter win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thankfully, because I scheduled my one-on-one with my boss at that exact time. But yeah, I did manage to get back and watch the end of the game after the call before we jumped on the stream here. And not as fun as celebrating in the playback room with you guys, but love to see it, just the team galvanize on that level. Where do you want to go from here, Jake? What's on your mind? You come away from a win like this. What do you want to talk about next?
I mean, there's a couple guys. Jason Tatum had an interesting game. Like, he ends the game with 29, 8, 6, 2 steals, 10 fourth quarter points. Like, I think him being so nails in the fourth quarter here, like 10 points. He was 3 for 8 from the field. He hits his one dagger 3 and gets himself to the line 3 times. Like, that's a captain's knock. We needed him to stabilize us in the fourth quarter, kind of hold off a bit of a late Philly run there, and he's just kind of able to do it. This is how good Tatum's kind of just gotten now. It's like he just needs to play really good for 5 minutes, and the other team, like if he does that, then good luck.
Yeah, he's balling on that level. Officially, it's official. And yeah, it was so...
We did it.
Unassertive, if that's the right word,
like
to begin the game. And, it very much calling back to the last week's game against the Sixers. We were like, oh man, Clay, come on, especially with the absences. Like, we need a more assertive, more aggressive version of you. And it's almost like he knows better than us, Jake. Like, he knows that if he waits and the team, plays the way they did and remain in a position to strike, that he will be the one who struck. And he was. I'm still not getting used to yes, but I'm still not used to being a reliable outcome.
No,
I guess we have to start getting used to it. We have to start resigning ourselves to that. It's a beautiful thing.
The thing. Like, I think someone could counter that being like, hey, the Celtics were like second in the league in clutch winning percentage last year. But how many of those wins were like shitting down our leg and the other team just like ran out of time? Similar to how the Sixers beat the Celtics in the previous matchup and and they just hung on by 1 or 2 possessions. Like, that felt like that happened a lot last year. Whereas they've been taking these games. The Knicks game, they go down late and they storm back and win. The Heat game, they just like storm through and just no worries. The only game they haven't been able to do that in so far, it feels like the Timberwolves game. And look, statistically, winning clutch games is something like the computer nerds argue that's kind of like a coin flip thing. And if you're winning a lot of clutch games, that's kind of fluky. And if you're losing a lot of clutch games, it's kind of fluky. But I think Celtics fans know that there's maybe a little bit of that in there, but you can really control your destiny a lot of the time in the clutch. Chris Paul, when he was with the Suns and they won 65 games, they were the best team in the league in the clutch. It's because he's so steady. The Heat last season were the 8th seed, despite winning like a shitload of clutch games. That's because that's what they do. They're really good in the clutch. They're poised. They bring out mistakes from the other team. And the Celtics feel like they're, so far, 11 games in, been able to do that.
Well, yeah. And so there's getting really tight in late game situations and your offense just loses its flow and, guys are really anxious and no one wants to take the shot and no one's cutting and just everything breaks down. And that's how we end up in that Jays ISO ball that we grew intense disdain for over the years. And then there's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is like being completely loose and playing free and having confidence in your game plan. And then also knowing that your opponent is completely tightening up themselves as a result and then taking advantage of that. And it felt like there was a seizing of that moment where not only did we remain loose and not tighten up, which again, I can't get used to that being a real fact.
Dude,
but just not realizing that was happening to Philly and their fans in their arena. So beautiful, man. So beautiful to see it go down. And, while I was in my meeting, I was on my laptop in front of me with my other screen behind my laptop with the game on. And I'm half in my meeting, half like watching your reactions in playback to the game and seeing it tick over and seeing the moment where like the fans and the Sixers just like their buttholes tightened and it was it for them. And it's a beautiful thing to witness, especially live.
They seem cool, calm, and collected, which is not something we're used to. Like, I think those are very normal trauma wounds, Ben. The PTSD is real.
I feel seen, Jake. I'm sure there's at least half the chat. Let us know how you feel, but I'm sure half of you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, but they know what they're doing in the fourth quarter. Like, it really feels like they have a plan and they know what to do. Like, literally, it's been the one Timberwolves game where they reverted into those bad habits, and since then, they've rectified it. And so, look, let's hope this holds. But I feel very confident that this is something that they've added to the team this year. Is that they have a strategy. They have set things that they want to get to. They know that they still need to push the pace. Like, how many times have we seen someone walk the dog in a fourth quarter when there's like 6 minutes to go and the Celtics are up 10 and we roll the ball on the ground because it speeds up, like, we lose 6 seconds in game time, but the shot clock doesn't start. But then we start the possession and we still don't get into our offense until like 8 seconds on the possession. And then we turn the ball over and it goes back the other end. That didn't happen a single time today.
I don't think I've seen it all season, in 11 games, small sample size. But I think if they were going to do it, if it was going to be part of their approach, we would have seen it by now. So
dude, every game that was happening last year, because easy to forget the Celtics won 57 games last year. And so they were in control of a lot of those games. And I feel like every game I was screaming at my TV, oh, here we fucking go again. Here comes the... How many times are people tweeting, here come the slow it down Celtics?
Yeah, here comes Dennis Schroeder walking the dog again and turning it over.
I don't want to call him out, but Marcus was like such an offender of the walk the dog thing. And like, I actually believe in the walk the dog thing. Like, you use the 6 seconds that you bleed by rolling the ball before the shot clock starts, but then you need to get into your offense and get a good shot. And when you get a good shot, you go, which is not happening. So I don't want to give a drive-by to Marcus Smart, but that is definitely not happening this year.
Jackson Bauer in the chat, Celtics Reddit
boys.
podcast, OG. We see you, buddy. Chris C, where's Spoonie? Spoonie's in bed, man. It's late night. And he's old like me. It needs to be in bed. It's only 4:00 in the afternoon here. We're uniquely positioned in our time zone to host this show. We should get to Eric Weiss's comment as well. Whoops,
indeed.
Shout out to the bench tonight. Guys ran shit, limited errors, and stayed solid. Limited errors. Like, we've kind of just been talking about that with regards to the late game execation. But guys like Svi Mihailo that came
15 minutes, 2 for 4.
Yeah,
let's go.
Banged a big 3. Was sort of hustling on the boards a little bit and just like making his presence felt. I mean, you could probably use that same description for everyone. Delano Banton, he missed. First of all, he's won 3, rough out of the hand. He missed a bunny at the hoop as well, but he was putting pressure on the Sixers defense a little bit, and in his 8 minutes and 17 seconds, he just gave us something. And something we talk about, Jake, with the bench guys all the time is like, sometimes you just need to come in and like, just do not be god awful. Just don't really suck. And none of them sucked. I know it's not very analytical, but it's important.
They all, the buy-in on this team is so evident. And sign of a well-coached team is you got a couple guys out and everybody that comes in is busting their ass. And it's reminded me of when we had played the Raptors and Joe challenged with like 3.5 minutes to go, and the Raptors get mad, and Joe's response is like, I'm coaching these guys. Like if I don't believe in them and challenge that play, like, do they think that I'm coaching them the same way that I'm coaching everybody else? Like, getting that buy-in top to bottom, like Svi and Banton haven't played a real minute yet, and they come in today and you get 15 from Svi, and you get 8 from Banton, and you get 5 rebounds in 8 minutes from Banton. And man, his night, like, I'd feel like a lot better about his night if he just made that one really nice drive to the layup to the rim. Like, he had that beautiful tip in on that offensive rebound. Like, I do like the theoretical version of Banton. It's quite evident though why he's on the team on the contract that he is, considering the air ball and like the 12-foot thing that he half decided to take a jumper, then decided to take a floater, and
then he dribbles into Embiid before like he self contests the shot.
Yeah, that was a bad choice. But like, having a guy that can handle the ball and be 6'8" and 6'9" and athletic, that's really valuable. And I love the way that Brad Stevens has, like, that's the strategy. Like, these guys are all athletic. Like Svi Mihajlovic, we know he can throw down a reverse jam. He can come in, like, bang a transition 3, just come out and be tall. Like, the only dude on this team that's small is Pritchard, and even he got another offensive rebound today. Like,
yeah, dude, an important one.
Yes, like Peyton Pritchard.
Go ahead.
Solid. 2 for 5.
Yeah, just not terrible. Not terrible.
Not terrible. He had
and
that
defensively
one
kind of sound.
Sound, dude. The Knicks game and this game, he's been excellent defensively. Well, it's like everybody's graded on a scale, right? And
Sure.
the 6'2" guy that, like, which is generous.
6'2".
Generous 6'2", that can't dunk really in an actual game. He's really bothering dudes defensively, and the fact that he's able to rebound 5, not 5, that's bantered, but 2 boards, 3 assists, plus 7. He's strung together a few games here where he's been really solid, despite the shot still not going. And he did hit a big 3, but the shot will come. He's going to go on a run here where he gets confident and the 3s start to pour in.
Well, yeah, just being useful and productive in other ways will instill confidence in him, which will then flow into his shot, and he will hit it. But, I think where he's really particularly effective is when we're doing the 2-1-2 press and he's up and pressing. He's not necessarily in a position defensively where he can really be exploited for his size-related weaknesses. It's just about getting up, trying to get under the dribble. PP 6.1.
It is. And look, he's a perfectly average size, and
he's 6'9" in our hearts, Jake. 6'9" in our hearts.
He can get the job done considering his size, and that's all any of us can really hope for, I feel.
Just looking down the roster here, I know someone asked about Delano Banton, Chris Waugh, who's a new name in the chat, who's coming back for more. So good to see you back, Chris Waugh. We talked about Delano Banton a little bit. I think maybe what we talked about in playback and not in this stream, Jake, is that he's like the best theoretical player in the NBA.
So good.
He's got the dimensions. In theory, he should be really good and really impactful, but he's very raw. He's very young. But it's a fun little project, and we're a very good team, and we have the luxury of like sort of being able to take risks and gambles on these guys as well. So really good to see. First seed, Jake, 9-2, feels good, man.
Yeah, man. Look, Ribbons and me are really on the same wavelength the last couple of days. Like, the couple of small PPs, it's beautiful. But yeah, look, the rest of the bench, Cornette, he
was solid. Spoonie got his wish.
He's developed a little chemistry with D White, or D White just has chemistry with everybody, it feels like. But look, 6 rebounds, man. That's 600% more than he got on night 1.
That's 600% over his quota of 1 rebound.
All we want is for him to get more than 1 rebound, and for him to come in and get 3 offensive and mix it up with Embiid. Like, Embiid, they did start to go at him, like, when we were like desperately trying to hang on with Al coming in. It's like we don't want to bring Al in with 8 minutes to go, like which we want to try and get down to 6 minutes to go to bring Horford in. And Cornet like did just enough, but it was getting to a point where the both Embiid and Maxey were like, oh, okay, we got this guy figured out here, and we're going to go at him. But, you know, for him to play 19 minutes and be a -4, go 4 for 4 from the field, and just be solid.
Apparently the Lakers are getting hosed tonight,
This is huge,
which you love to see.
I need the Lakers and the Cavs to win, and I hit like a 10-leg multi or parlay, I should say. So if we're able to check the scores here, that would be nice. Thank you for notifying me of this. Blazers up 8.
There you go.
Yeah, Lakers down 20 going into the fourth quarter. We love to see that generally, and we love to see that for Jake's wallet. So this is a good day. It was $2 to win 75 type one, not a massive one, but we just got to keep an eye on the fucking Cavs here, who are 4 and 6. You can't go down to the Blazers here, boys. That's not something that I would like to see. But,
here's an interesting stat for you, courtesy of Dick Lipe. So Horford became... I will dick you up right now. Horford became the first player, 37 or older, to have 10 rebounds and 5 blocks in a game since
Bill Russell?
In 2015.
Oh, 20.
37 years or older, 2015.
2015.
Prolific, big.
Old. Trying to think.
Let us know in the chat.
Pau,
no.
not Pau, not Marc Gasol.
They are not Spanish.
Not Spanish. American?
Yeah, I don't think so. No. I don't think this person
Tim
is
Duncan?
American. Yes, Tim Duncan.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't he? He's like Dominican Republic, or it's not that. Where is Tim Duncan from? We should know this. Folks in the chat, call in if you know. Let us know. Yeah, that's amazing from Al Horford in a game where we really needed it. Boston led the Sixers 37-22 after the opening quarter. The last time the Celtics had a lead of 15 or more after the first quarter in Philadelphia was in April 1997 during the penultimate game of a 15-67 season, aka I think the worst season in Celtics history. Dick Lipe it up there. Love to see it.
Well, it's looking like this is not going to be one of the worst seasons in Celtics history.
We're close to cresting the 15 win mark.
Yeah, we're getting close to beating that one. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, this is a great performance all the way around. And you know, we have the 17-point lead, and it just kind of like evaporates. It felt like, and a lot of that was missing wide open shots. Like Sam Hauser going 2 for 8. You know, we were due. We were due for a 2 for 8 night, and honestly, like, that's not even that bad. 2 for 8, like 25%. You know, you can kind of live with that. Like considering he's shooting 57% on the season, like you can kind of live with that. Interesting. I wonder if like anything to do with his role. We were kind of screaming like he was getting all these wide open threes, and he kept missing them. And I was like, I feel like we got to throw Hauser a terrible pass and a tightly contested 3, and he'll knock it down. And that's what happened. So he's gotten that good at knocking down those contested ones. But man, this is just solid. You go in, you kind of expect to lose this one with KP and Jalen out, and for everybody to kind of step up.
I wonder if I can get... Sorry, I'm just completely changing the subject here, but I wonder if we can get Dick Lipe as a guest on the show. I don't know. I've got to find out how to...
Shoot him the stream, the link. Get him in here right now.
Right now? Okay, so a couple of things as we sort of look to wrap up here. And folks in the chat, you know, we've obviously run through our mental run sheets here. So if you've got anything you want to talk about, anything you noticed tonight, any observations you made about this game or the schedule coming up, let us know. But a few things just to summarize. So obviously the record, 9-2. The offense, 120 points per 100 possessions. That's good for third in the league. Defense, 106.6 points per 100 possessions. That's good for second in the league. Net rating, plus 13.4. First in the league. Point differential, plus 13.4, obviously. First in the league also. That's a wonderful place to be. Top 5 offense and defense. Shades of early last year and late the year prior. These are the kinds of teams that make deep playoff runs and, dare I say it, win championships as well. So
absolutely.
Dear
to
God,
me-
please, can we stay healthy?
Yeah, look, this is the profile of a championship team. Like, name the thing. Defensive rating. Can you switch? Can you play drop? Can you play zone offensively? Again, like the stats ended up being quite similar. The Celtics ended up shooting 36% from three. The Sixers 36.7. I wonder if like a couple of those Sixers shots, like were there any like late ones that it's bumping that back up at the end? But the Sixers were leading this game in the 3-point department the whole game, shooting at like that 42% mark, and that's happened against the Knicks as well, where the other team against the Heat and the Knicks on opening night. Like, it's happened a bunch of times where the other team is just hot from three, and they just like keep defending, sticking with the process. And eventually the shots start to fall. The other team starts to waver. The defense clamps down, and the avalanche comes eventually. Like, you can run from it, but eventually the avalanche has been coming, no matter what, this season. And to win a game again where you didn't you didn't shoot that well from three is a good sign.
Well, yeah, it's the defense, man. Like, looking at cleaning the glass here, so the Sixers took the majority of their shots, 44% of their shots at the rim, and yet shot only 51.5% at the rim. The rim defense, shout out Al Horford, was incredible. So we sort of continue to funnel teams. A game ago against the Knicks, they took the majority of their shots from the long mid-range, which is obviously the worst place in basketball to shoot from. But we're funneling teams into tough positions offensively and forcing them to take terrible shots. So to force them to take, I guess, that many shots at the rim and then reduce them to 51% is huge, especially when it's Embiid. You picture Embiid, it's like him just like backing guys down and like dunking on their fucking heads. And so to play that level of defense against a team with the MVP, who's this huge 7-foot behemoth, is incredible. So again, just shout out the defense. They continue
Absolutely,
to amaze me.
And like, the defense was second in the league last year. It never really felt like they were that good defensively consistently. And that feels like the biggest difference to me this year is that they're sticking to what is working. And last year, I know Eric Weiss, we've talked about this in the chat here. Early last year, they go 21-6, and they're cutting, they're moving. And like, yes, they were hot from three, but the process was really, really good. And then they went on that West Coast swing out to the Warriors game and the Clippers game, and it kind of went away, and we never really saw it again. And this year, obviously, again, we're 11 games in, but so far defensively, which we didn't really have last year, like especially in that early run, it wasn't a defense-led approach at all. It was just bombing away and shooting 40+% from three for like 6 weeks.
Yep, I remember it well.
It was we
it was a good time.
Yeah, you and me we're in a bar in Surrey Hills, 21-5, and you were feeling good. You said some stuff.
Yeah, I believe I'll say we, even though it was probably just me, we put out the first piece of cosmic energy that sort of caused all of that to unravel and for the Celtics to shit the bed as the season. Thanks for subscribing, DJ Purchase. Good to have you.
Yeah, welcome to the crew.
So we're gonna look to wrap up here. So I want to get to
one guy we didn't talk about at all though. Jrue Holiday, really. Like,
oh, good point. Yeah, you get used to his amazingness.
He was excellent, but like, it is nice to have, like, he I think has been playing the perfect role when everybody's healthy, taking that, like, he's been taking 11.1 shots per game, which is well below what he's like the last 3 seasons combined, I believe, or 5 seasons combined. He was shooting around like 15.4 field goals per game, and I think having him in that 11 field goal range is just like completely unfair. Oh, the Dolphin, a great pub in Surrey Hills as well. Rivens, absolutely.
It was Surly's also in Surrey Hills. Just
true.
For Rivens'
close by.
sake there. Yeah,
close by. But yeah, Jrue Holiday, like, yes, he's 8 for 18, 44%. 2 for 9 from 3. Not eye-popping scoring numbers, but like timely. The ability to like back guys down, the offense gets stuck, a bunch of like it's just such a nice weapon to have. And he got to it a few times here.
It's a bona fide curveball. When Joe mentioned it prior to the season, curveballs, we're going to have curveballs on both ends. Great. Okay, what are the curveballs going to be? We can hope and imagine that it's going to be a Tatum post-up, and that's certainly been, like, I guess, the major one. But Jrue Holiday posting up not even that much smaller guards, but guards that using this phrase that we like to use, that are light in the ass, backing them all the way under the hoop. And again, there's passing opportunities if guys like Embiid come over to help, which they did several times against the Sixers tonight. It's what I think a legit bona fide curveball for the Celtics. So shout out Jrue Holiday.
Dude, he led the team in rebounding today. Like, Tatum's been that guy. And Al Horford to be able to get his 8 rebounds. But for Jrue to get 2 offensive, 8 defensive, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and that clutch block. What up, Oz Celtics fan? That clutch block, like, they call a foul. Joe challenges it, and we're in the playback stream, and Spoonie's like, "Oh, I think it's a high five rule," and I'm like, "No, Jrue got a finger to that ball. Challenge overturned.
I wish I was there for that.
It's all right.
Sounds like a hell of a time.
Yeah, it was. Plenty more to come. Plenty more to come.
One last thing to wrap up on. I guess just on Jrue, it's like I was talking about all the things that I still haven't learnt to rely on with the late game offense execution and the defense being a strong part of the narrative. With Jrue Holiday, it's like I just have very high expectations of him, which is why it took so long for us to bring him up on this show. It's like, of course he was good. I just feel like he's pretty solid and pretty consistent. Slight, and we've talked about this before, so we won't go into it, but like decision-making quirks when it comes to like jacking, shall we say, Marcus Smart like threes early in the shot clock. But for the most part, he's been great. This question from Jesse here in the chat, I got a debate for you guys. Should the C's go double big against teams like the Sixers and the Bucks? What do you think, Jake?
I do. I mean, I think it's very evident that when you're playing the Philadelphia 76ers that Al Horford needs to start. So that's going to lead to someone coming off the bench. Is it going to be Jrue, Derrick, Porzingis, or Jalen? Like, obviously the double bigs thing is a thing we've gone to. It's incredible that you have to make that decision, though. But I do think, it's definitely against the Sixers. I wonder against the Bucks if it's as necessary, just because, like, even though Giannis is huge and Brook Lopez is, we'll see. I'm interested to see the first Bucks matchup, which is coming. Is it next week?
Very soon. Yeah, we'll end on the schedule, but I think it's we'll get to that in just a sec. I think it's like 3 games away. But
I don't know exactly how I kind of knew that Porzingis was going to struggle against Embiid. I think that was like pretty obvious. But against Giannis and Lopez, I wonder if Porzingis might be able to handle it a little bit better.
Just playing drop.
But look, definitely something to explore. I don't know, but I do think that someone has to be willing to sacrifice coming off the bench. And like, I wonder if it's Porzingis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think don't go double big. Obviously, we weren't double big today, and it worked out pretty perfectly holding a team that's been as red hot as the Sixers. Sure, they're on the second night of a back-to-back, but to 107 points is crazy. No, I'm no longer in the attic. Getting some renovations done. Next time you see me in the attic, it's going to be all fancy and done up. But I digress. So I don't think you need to go double big. I think it's like, I think you need to decide which of your 2 fantastic bigs are going to be more impactful. I think pretty clearly, recency bias may be a thing here, but Al Horford is going to be the most impactful in that matchup against Embiid and the Sixers, and I think you probably got to bring Porzingis off the bench. I think that's fine. And looking at how happy and gleeful Porzingis is, I think he's fine with it in that particular matchup. And you're telling me I don't have to bang bodies with Embiid all night, and I can just come in and hit shots over 6'9" Paul Reed? Hell yeah, that sounds great.
I mean, like, I think it's both, right? Because in a playoff series, Embiid's going to play 36 minutes, and so like obviously there's going to be some minutes where Porzingis is out there with Embiid. Otherwise, Porzingis is going to play 12 minutes, right? But yeah, this is like DJ Daniel. Like other teams, like don't adjust their lineups for the Celtics. Why should the Celtics? Most teams don't have Al Horford coming off the bench. Most teams' 6-man is not potentially Al Horford, Porzingis, Jrue, Derrick. Like this is a first world problem.
But also, like, if you're an Embiid fan and a Sixers fan, Al Horford, public enemy number 1. This guy like kind of owns Embiid historically speaking. So you kind
he
of have to
knows.
think about making the adjustment. I know it's crazy. Porzingis, like, he's the unicorn. He's awesome. It's not insane. It's not nuts to think about potentially making that adjustment for a game. And if you don't, then suddenly we get some of these criticisms towards Joe coming back. Oh, he's unwilling to make adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, he won't, change up the approach from game to game. And it's just the same old Missoula ball, chucking 53s a game. It's like, no, like, he actually thinks deeply going into every individual matchup now. And if starting Horford over Embiid is part of that, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly. And Porzingis is a problem for Embiid in a deep drop. Yeah, man. Like, I think there's a couple ways you can go. Like, really, this matchup, your best lineup might even be Horford, Porzingis, Jason, Derrick, Jrue, and Jalen's not in there. That's interesting to me, but I don't think Jalen ever comes off the bench. I don't think that they'll go that far. I think it's going to be Jrue, Derrick, or KP if anyone gets benched. Like they couldn't do that, could they?
I mean, they could do anything. That's why I love them so much. Like, they have shown that they're capable of doing anything, and I think you can include Joe in the fold there. And really, like, at the end of the day, what we're talking about, like, it's an embarrassment of riches. It's a luxury to even be, like you said, to even be having this conversation, and the luxury of being able to shuffle the pieces to see what fits for any given opponent there. Let's end on the upcoming.
Wait, Chris Waugh, can you tell us which podcaster you've just gone in and done a pretend Embiid impression in their like live chat, and if we're able to somehow get the footage or tape or that
would be great.
Because as soon as the game ended, I opened up the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, and unfortunately Spike has had hip surgery, so it wasn't the both of them, so I didn't quite have the same.
Oh man, I was going to say I could start listening to the Ricky again.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to stand listening to them because it's all success and lollipops and rainbows. But if they're miserable again, then I'm going to have to start tuning in. So, are we overreacting to Al being unbelievable when he has been unbelievable against Embiid time and time and time again since the inception of that matchup? I don't know,
man. It just doesn't necessarily surprise, but it just feels so good. So when it happens, I think we kind of called it. Like I wasn't going to be shocked if Al had a big game against the Sixers and Embiid, but you know he hasn't done a lot this year, and for us to see that he has the ability, which I believed he had, to just crank it up to 11 when he needs to. Like, I don't know if I'm overreacting. I'm just reacting. I just feel great.
Yeah, that's kind of life on the podcast circuit as well, man. It's like we just would react to whatever happened. But, you know, DJ Daniel, whose name I can never say, I apologize. We love you, man. Keep calling us out. It's all part of the conversation. It's all a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in.
Lady, DJ Daniel.
Oh, apologies.
I could be wrong.
Apologies. Yeah. I always get that wrong. Anyway, look, let's wrap up on this. That's me. That's not you. Apologies. So the upcoming schedule, which I had, and now it's gone. So we've got another in-season tournament game up there in Toronto, Friday night, Saturday morning if you're here in Australia. Then the Grizzlies on Sunday night, and it doesn't look like we're going to be going up against old buddy Marcus Smart because he had the ankle sprain. Hornets, so Raptors, Grizzlies, Hornets, like...
That's a back-to-back.
I don't want to overreact here, guys, but like win. And then the Bucks on the 22nd of November there, a Wednesday night. So
that's a Thursday for us, right?
Yes, that's right. So that's 4 very winnable games with how poorly the Bucks are playing. You got to imagine though, Jake, like the Bucks are going to get up. If for no other matchup so far this season, they're going to be playing at their absolute best in that matchup. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming games? Yeah.
Well, firstly, the Raptors game is an in-season tournament game, which I really want to win now. Like I don't know, I'm just in on wanting to win the in-season tournament. I want to win every game, but we got a little little rivalry action off the back of the last Raptors game with Joe challenging the call with 3 minutes to go and the Raptors getting all pissy. So that adds a little bit extra juice on top of they're going to have their funky court. Guys, trust me, you're going to want the Celtics to be in the in-season tournament semifinals and finals. Yes. It's going to be like national primetime games. There's not going to be any other games on. Like they're going to be against some of the other better teams. You're going to want the Celtics to be in them. We're 1-0 in IST. We want to get this second one. against the Raptors, because that should more or less put us through. And then that schedule is awful cushy. Obviously, the Grizzlies and the Hornets. It is a back-to-back, but that Bucks game, I know Aussie Phil was asking if we do a playback party for the Raptors. I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. I'm gonna be in Sydney anyway.
Weekends are tough.
Yeah, but next Thursday for the Bucks game, we'll definitely be firing it up.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it for the Grizzlies game, but if Smart's not going to be there, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. But yeah, absolutely the Bucks game. And look, we're going to keep playback rolling all year. And if you're not part of the playback room now, playback.tv/first of the floor, sign up. It's free. Just sign in with your League Pass subscription, and you can hop in there and watch the games with us all the time. And follow us on Twitter also, because we're announcing those playback streams well ahead of time.
Links coming in here. Just go on, join the room. You'll get notified when we go live.
And while you're here, look, we were saying earlier, we don't do a good enough job of asking people to do these calls to action, Jake. But if you're here, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. The YouTube algorithm is one of the world's greatest mysteries. It's very difficult to navigate, and there's a lot of Celtics podcasts out there. So if you like the show, if you want to help us out, then if you could do that, that would be great. And we'd love to see you back on the next stream. Speaking of which, Jake, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, midday Australian time, we're going to be back here live on YouTube, another podcast, breaking down the game with Wayne Spooney, looking at the schedule ahead, and just a little bit more time to digest the stats. The tracking data comes out. We'll have some clips up on the stream as well, and just a little bit more of an analytical approach to what happened tonight.
And Spooney will be there. So it's kind of like, it's like KG, Pierce, and Ray Allen. You kind of need all three to really reach your peak there.
The big three. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else, Jake, you want to finish up on before we wrap up here?
No, man. 9-2. Hospital Celtics take down the Sixers. Maxey can't handle the stock exchange. Beautiful.
That's it. Love it. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Peace.